Hello. Have you ever heard that you should always stay green, always stay a green apple because when you get ripe, you rot? Um, the famous icon in the beauty industry, Olive Benson, used to say that all the time. So I thought about that tonight and thinking about teachability. And I was listening to Dan Kennedy, who is a guru in the marketing and direct sales, direct marketing, direct response marketing world. And he was using a word of fascination, even more so than passion, that people who are successful and entrepreneurial are often fascinated by what they do. And so they spend their time doing what they do, learning more about it, having conversations about it. And so it just got me thinking about, particularly when we're looking to bring on like a new team member, how can we tell like if they're teachable, if they're going to be someone who will blend in, who will be open to, us showing them a new way possibly. I always say it's best to keep what you have, but be open to learning something else because you just add to it. It doesn't have to replace it. So I wanted to kind of explore that and just go through a couple quick questions that may allow you to better tell, because a lot of times if you just ask someone, point blank, are you teachable? Their response is going to be, oh yeah, definitely. And so how can you even tell? So, it's like, let's take a look at some of these questions and see how they fit for you. So, and see if there's something that you might be able to use for your next interview, or even when you're just having conversation with people that you might like to interact with. I think there's nothing worse than the person who is giving you the answers to the questions you haven't even asked yet, cutting you off at every turn, and basically knows everything. It's really challenging sometimes to have a conversation with that type of person, and I hope that I'm not that type of person. But every so often, you'd want to interject or something like that. But let's look at teachable. And so one of the clues is that, number one, that they're always learning. So what did they learn most recently? What type of classes have they attended? Do they listen to podcasts? I have a lot of friends that I've been talking to recently who are, they have certain podcasts they listen to all the time. Do the podcasts that they listen to have anything to do with the beauty industry or with the industry that they're looking at entering into? What about YouTube? Who do they follow on YouTube? One of the things I find for a lot of folks, hi there, it's like people are watching, welcome. And is that a lot of times people just jump on YouTube, they go anywhere, they see anything, and they pick up something, and it's like, okay, that was great. And that can be great, but I think that you can learn a lot more when you follow one person, over a period of time, that you start to see things that you might not have seen before. So, books, good old-fashioned books. Are they reading any books? Have they read any books lately? And it can be ebooks or online books, or regular old-fashioned, go to the library and check out a free book type of books, or go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble, I think, is still around, and actually get a book. Or what about a magazine article? All the different trade publications. There's also great articles in magazines that are just on the newsstand. It's like I always like to keep up with things like that because that's what everybody's reading. So kind of staying in the know around the areas that you're specializing in. So that's one thing. It's like, are they a person that's always learning, and how does it show up in their life? And so those are good questions to kind of have conversations around. The second thing is, who do you follow? I talked about that a little bit in the first one, but who do you follow, whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube, whether it's some other type of venue where you're going to classes with a certain person, going to training, purchasing their DVDs or other types of training materials, and really being able to kind of take a deep dive into what is it that makes that person so successful. I've been watching a few folks online, and it's just awesome to see, people who are serious about their craft. It's like they hold themselves differently, they talk differently, they have different types of conversations, and it just shows up, that success seed, I guess you could say, gets planted, and it just keeps showing its head in different ways. And so when you follow someone, you start to pick up on some of those things, maybe even sometimes language and vocabulary. And so that's the second thing, who are they following? Are they following someone? That can make a world of difference. And it may be something that they've never even considered, following someone. So maybe having a conversation about, kind of the pros and cons of that might be an interesting way to just kind of get to know them a little bit better, to see how teachable they are, especially if it's a new idea. Are they open to it? Instant gratification there. It's like either they are or they're not. And the third thing, and I had a conversation with Reza Sharp, who teaches haircutting skills. Vidal Sassoon trained, goes all around the country and does a lot of things locally in salon, private classes and bigger classes, and really passionate about what he does and fascinated by what he does, studying and looking and learning always. And one of the questions he said that he asked some students were, how did you spend your time last weekend? What did you do? It's like, oh, I went to the movies, I went to this, I did that. And if there's no mention of, what you're supposed to be passionate about, it's like, where does that fit in? And so, going back to my own experience as a young stylist in school, there was a person, an educator who worked for a certain company, which was actually Soft Sheen at the time, which has since morphed into Soft Sheen Carson. But that educator held a lot of classes all over town. And after a little while, he actually asked me, it's like, are you stalking me? And I had to say yes. It's like, wherever you're going to be teaching, that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be at every single class. I'm going to probably be on the first row of every class, because I really want to learn. I want to be a sponge. I want to soak up everything I possibly can. And I think that enthusiasm, that amount of passion, that amount of teachability is one of the things that helped, particularly when I was starting out, for my mentor, who was my first salon owner, to really be able to help me. And, when I thought that there was no hope and that I would have to leave the industry, gave me an opportunity to work part-time, and he didn't even believe in part-time, but I think it was seeing and feeling the energy and passion and excitement that I had about the industry that helped him to say, why don't we do this? And that was such a blessing to me. And so I'm hoping that some of this is resonating with you, that you're maybe jotting down a few questions or what have you. It's like, if so, definitely like the buttons below and leave any comments or any things that you've experienced with, having conversations with people who are teachable or maybe who are not teachable, and what the differences are for you. So this is Mickey Wright. I am with Beauty Superstars, and I'm also helping small businesses to be able to hire people who are a great fit for them, to be able to train them and be able to lead them and grow their business themselves and their businesses. So we are having a class. Love to invite you to that. I have a free tool that you can use if you are in the process of bringing on an assistant or adding more to your team, whether it's your 10th person or not. This tool may be helpful for you, because it's just a checklist, a quick checklist that will help you to be able to decide if they are really a good fit or not, kind of an all-around, take it out of your head, take it out of your heart, take it out of, the emotion of it all, and really make a sound decision. So I will say goodnight for now, and hope that you have a wonderful one. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So again, this is Mickey Wright, and check out the class at yourdreamteam.eventbrite.com. It's your, Y-O-U-R, dreamteam.eventbrite.com. We'll be starting on April 3rd, and it's for all types of businesses to learn how to take their business and their hiring to another level in terms of their leadership, in terms of having tools and training for the people coming on board to be able to really get off on the right foot after they've been selected and they're a great candidate for your business, and being able to help them grow, which in turn grows your business. So look forward to seeing you soon, and I will talk to you then. Until then, keep reaching for the stars.